Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, we are from first group. Let me introduce our group's member. Nurul Hafizah as the first speaker, Az-Zahra as the second speaker, and the last speaker is Rosa Katrunada. Okay, now we would like to explain about what is psycholinguistic study, human language, its characteristics, and language of the words. Okay, for the first material, that is psycholinguistics. Psycholinguistics is a combination of two words, that is psychology and linguistics. Psychology comes from the Greek, that is psyche and logos. Psyche, which means soul or spirit, and logos, which means knowledge. So psychology is a science that studies human behavior in relation to the environment, or science that studies human behavior and relationship between humans. And then linguistics. Linguistics come from word lingua, which means language. Linguistics is defined as the scientific study of language. So psycholinguistics, that means psychology of language, is the study of the psychological and neurological factors that enable humans to acquire, use, comprehend, and produce language. Psycholinguistics covers the cognitive processes that make it possible to generate grammatical and meaningful sentences out of vocabulary and grammatical structure, as well as the process that make it possible to understand utterance, words, text, and others. And then a social scientist who studies psycholinguistics is called a psycholinguist. More specifically, a psycholinguist studies language, speech production, and comprehension using behavioral and neurological methods, which traditionally are developed in the field of psychology, that other methods such as corpus analysis are also widely used.
Human language. What is human language? There are so many opinions about human language. But here, I just mentioned 3 opinions about human language. First, according to Sapir, language is a purely human and non-instinctive method of communicating ideas, emotion, and desires by means of voluntarily produced symbols. And then, Chomsky considers language to be a set, finite or infinite, of sentence. Each sentence is finite in length and constructed out of a finite set of elements. Unlike other definitions, it is meant to cover much else besides natural languages, and holds that language is the institution whereby humans communicate and interact with each other by means of habitually used oral, auditory, and vibratory symbols. Both communication and interaction are introduced into the definition. The term oral auditory can be taken to be almost equal to vocal, differing from it only in the hearer and speaker and the receiver, as well as language utterances. In sum, language is the communication tool used by humans to be able to communicate with other humans. Characteristics of human language. There are 6 characteristics of human language. The first one is productivity. The productivity of communication system is a feature which makes possible the construction and interpretation of new signals that have not been already faced and are not to be found on some list, however large. That list might be of prefabricated signals to which the user has access. The second, discreteness. In the case of language, discreteness is a property of the secondary elements. To illustrate, the 2 words pit and pet differ in form in both the written and the spoken language. It is widely possible to produce a vowel sound that is a halfway between the vowels that normally occur in the pronunciation of these 2 words. And the third, displacement. Displacement is one of features of language that refers to the capability to speak not only about things that happen at the time and the place of talking, but also about other situations, real or unreal, past or future. Human can talk about electronic parts catalog while playing cards without saying one. The fourth is arbitrariness. It is one of basic features of language. Words have no principles and systematic connection with what they mean. The first three numbers in English are 1, 2, 3, but in Chinese there are he or san. Neither language has the right word for the numerals or anything else because there is no such thing. The fifth is variability. Variability is one of the most important and admirable properties of language. The language that people use varies depending on who is speaking and the situation in which they are speaking. The last one is duality. Duality or double articulation means the property of consisting two levels of structures such as that units of the primary level are included in elements of secondary level and each of the two levels has its own principles of organization.
Today I would like to present about the next material, talking about the language of the world. Does anyone know how many languages are there in the world? And what is the most spoken languages in the world? I will be explaining. Before that, I will be explaining about definition of the language of the world. Based on article Communication and Culture, Siti Robia says language is a communication tool used by everyone in their daily life as means to convey information and argument to others. In this case, the language can be separated from culture because language represents its nation and has close relation to the attitude or behavior of groups of the language speaker. And what is the definition language of the world? Based on book Encyclopedia of Bilingualism and Bilingual Education, our language is one that is spoken internationally and learned and spoken by diverse people as a second language. Our language is characterized not only by the total number of speakers, native and second language, but also by geographical distribution, and it is used in international organization and diplomatic relations. And let's turn to the next point. It is talking about how many languages are there in the world. Based on the book Oxford Research Encyclopedia Linguistic, page 2 of 30, languages of the world, it is about 7,000 languages are spoken around the world today. The actual number depends on where the line is drawn between language and dialect in arbitrary decision, because language are always in a flux. But specialists applying a reasonably uniform criterion across the globe count well over 2,000 languages in Asia and Africa, while Europe has just shy of 300 languages. In between are the Pacific region with over 1,030 languages and the America with just over 1,000 languages. And the last point, it is talking about the top 10 most spoken languages in the world. You can see the chart on the PowerPoint. There are the 10 most spoken languages in the world, such as English, Mandarin, Hindi, Spanish, French, Arabic, Bengali, Russian, Portuguese, and Indonesia. And here is an analysis of the world's most popular languages in terms of both native speakers and those who have learned the language. First, English. It is about 1,132 million speakers. English is the language of international business and is the primary official language of the United States, Canada, the United Kingdom, and so on. The next is Mandarin. It is about 1,117 million speakers. Mandarin Chinese is the second most popular languages in the world. Mandarin is part of the Sino-Tibetan linguistic family which stretches across much of Asia. And the third is Hindi. It is about 650 million speakers. Hindi was influenced by Dravidian Turkey, Portuguese, and so on. And the fourth is Spanish. it is about 534 million speakers. Spanish is the official language in Spain and numerous Latin America countries such as Argentina, Mexico, and so on. And the fifth is French. It is about 280 million speakers. French is also spoken in Belgium, Luxembourg, and so on. The next is Arabic. It is about 274 million speakers. Arabic is widely spoken in the Middle East and several Asian countries, including the United Arab Emirates, Iraq, Saudi Arabia, and so on. And the next is Bengali. It is about 265 million speakers. And Bengali is the official language in Bangladesh and is widely spoken in India. The next is Russian. It is about 268 million speakers. The Russian language is Slavic, from the Indo-European linguistic family. It developed from the Polonian dialect, which was popular in Kiev, the capital of the first East Slavic state 1,000 years ago. Russian is the official language of Russia and is also spoken in Ukraine, Latvia, Armenia, and so on. And the next, it is Portuguese. It is about 199 million speakers. Portuguese is the ninth most commonly spoken languages in the world. Portuguese is a Roman language that developed in the western region of the Iberian Peninsula, known as Portugal and Spain. It is the official language in Portugal as well as Angola, Brazil, Cape Verde, and so on. And the last is Indonesia. It is about 170 million speakers. Indonesia is a dialect of Malay and the only one from the Austronesia family of languages to appear on the list of the 10 most spoken languages.